Game on Sunday, Chiefs versus Eagles.
I'll forever have those memories and those relationships, so that's what I enjoy the most.
We are live from Radio Row to preview Sunday's clash. Today, SBU-TV continues to celebrate Black History Month, visiting a local center preserving our area's history.
African American history is American history. We're all in it together. We're better together.
Sunny skies and mild temperatures ahead.
Sunday, partly cloudy with temperatures near 50 degrees.
We have your weekend weather coming up. 21,000 people killed following a severe earthquake in Turkey. We have the latest when SBU-TV starts right now. Good morning and welcome to SBU-TV. Thank you for joining us this morning. I'm Rich Williams.
And I'm Anthony Silva. We begin today by getting you prepared for Sunday's big game between the Kansas City Chiefs and the Philadelphia Eagles. For this, we are going to go join our Johnny Walker, who is live from Radio Row. Johnny, good morning.
Thanks, Anthony. I'm here in downtown Phoenix at the Phoenix Convention Center, site of Radio Row for Super Bowl 57. We're just a few short days away from Super Bowl 57 between the Kansas City Chiefs and the Philadelphia Eagles. This is the fifth time the Chiefs have played in the big game, going 2-2 so far. Now the Eagles, they're making their fourth appearance, going 1-2 with a 1-2 Super Bowl record. Now, the big game is not going to be here in Phoenix. It's going to be just 20 minutes down the road in Glendale. But we'll have more on this matchup later in sports. Now, like I said, I'm here in Radio Row for Super Bowl 57, and actually the whole week leading up to the Super Bowl is Super Bowl Media Week. There's tons of events. Now, scattered around this convention center, you got small stations like us, and you got bigger ones like CBS Sports and ESPN. Now, I and 5 other St. Bonaventure students have been in Phoenix since Monday. We've been representing WSBU The Buzz, Bonaventure's campus radio station. And each day since Monday, we've worked 8 to 12 hours to create content for The Buzz. That means securing interviews with notable sports figures, recording show segments, and editing and posting social media content. Now, to start off the week, Monday night, we were given access to all participating players and coaches in this year's big game. And now, just to give you an idea of the prestige of Radio Row, we've seen names like Joe Montana and Emmitt Smith walking around this convention center all week long. And it's not just football stars out here either. On our show, we've had notable NASCAR driver Kyle Larson and even former MLB pitcher Joe Kelly. Now, today's our last day here on Radio Row, and we expect to have our biggest interviews of the week. That's all for me here in downtown Phoenix. Back to you, Anthony and Rich.
Pleasure, Johnny. Safe travels.
Now, Anthony, last week we dealt with some severe cold weather, temperatures hovering just around 0 on Friday. That's right, huh?
Yeah, last week it was a little bit chilly, but this week it's going to be a tad bit warmer. Our WKBW's Aaron Mentkowski joins us for your weekend weather.
Everyone, I'm Chief Meteorologist Aaron Mentkowski with your SBU-TV weather forecast for Friday. We'll have snow showers in the afternoon. Temperatures in the mid to upper 30s. Saturday, we start with some clouds, end with sunshine. Temperatures in the mid to upper 30s. Sunday, partly cloudy with temperatures near 50 degrees.
During Black History Month, we celebrate legacies and contributions from across the country, and one local woman here in Olean is preserving this area's own history just down the street. I spoke with her to find out why saving that history and culture is so important.
And we have such a rich history. African Americans have fantastic history, as well as Olean has a fantastic history, and people don't know it.
That's the problem Della Moore is trying to fix at the African American Center for Cultural Development, a mission heightened during Black History Month.
You know, letting them know that, you know, the person next door to you, she has a history, you know, and it's worth knowing.
But why is it important to learn this history?
My belief that African American history is American history. We're all in it together. We're better together.
Now, I'm in Olean right now, just outside the center, which has been under some renovations in the past year, getting it ready for the public. As for when that opening day may be, well, Della said that's not entirely her own decision.
No, God hadn't told me yet, but he's given me little hints.
And as renovations continue, Moore has plans for celebrating Black History Month outside of the center's location on North Berry Street in Olean.
Yeah, so we have speeches and events, and we're going to sit down. We invite the public to come and sit down and have a cup of coffee, and we'll talk about Black history.
At these speeches, Della hopes to strengthen the community's bond.
I want people to know their neighbors. If you know your neighbor and you know about them and know where they're coming from, you treat them a little bit differently, a little bit better.
For SBU-TV,
You sure you got at least a day?
I'm Rich Williams.
This is going to be...
If you're interested in joining Della for any of her Black History Month events, you can visit the center's webpage or check out the Olean Chamber of Commerce event schedule for more details.
Thanks, Rich. Turning now to northern Cattaraugus County, you heard last week about the Alley Cat Wind Farm and its parent company, Invenergy. It plans to build wind turbines in 4 western New York towns, but residents opposing these turbines say they present health and community risks that are not worth the proposed rewards. The proposal's developer spoke with this week with SBU-TV's Nick Guyon. What benefits does the Invenergy say it will create?
We anticipate it'll create over $9.1 million in local economic activity each year. That is money that is able to be used by the local community for anything that they wish to use.
Also says communities won't see this money until around 2026, after the first year the wind farm operates.
Look at this front porch shake. Monday morning at about 6:15, the Buffalo area experienced a 3.8 magnitude earthquake, the largest since 1967, says the U.S. Geological Survey. The quake caused almost no damage, save a Buffalo chimney falling onto a car. Melanie Helms, 22, of Williamsville, was asleep, like many, when the quake struck.
I felt the house kind of shake a little bit, and I was awake at that point, of course. I was a little bit scared, just because I could see the blinds on my window moving around a little bit.
Since 1983, there have been 24 earthquakes above a magnitude of 2.5 in the Buffalo West Seneca region, with Monday's being the largest since.
A fatal earthquake in Turkey and Syria killed more than 21,000 people and injuring more than 78,000, hitting a magnitude of 7.8 and struck over 14.2 miles of land in Turkey. This earthquake is the most fatal in over 2 decades, ranking 7th in the most fatal earthquakes in history so far. Survivors are still being rescued and aided by the UN and France. France pledged 12 million euros, which is also 12 million US dollars, to Syria. UN is also supplying non-food items to Syria as well.
Running a business takes a lot of work. Hear from Johnny's Washington, who went to one local establishment that's been running for 100 years.
My belief that African American history is American history. We're all in it together.
Throughout February, SBU-TV celebrates Black History Month, and this week we spoke with local historian Della Moore, who shares Olean's Black history at the African American Center for Cultural Development.
Jordan knows he shouldn't eat this entire bowl of nachos, but tonight he's earned that right, because a few hours ago in the middle of happy hour, he recognized a sign, not from the gods or a bolt of lightning, but from a double heart, a kissy face, and a 4th ha in ha ha ha. That's when Jordan knew he was buzzed. So when it was time to go, he got a ride home instead of driving. Be a legend like Jordan. Recognize your buzzed warning signs and get a ride home. Buzz driving is drunk driving.
Baby, you see, I cannot set you free. My lonely days are gone. That's why I'm never gonna let you go. Never gonna let you go. Babe, I'm never gonna let you go. No, no, never gonna let you go.
Here you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Never gonna let you go. Never gonna let you.
When I got the opportunity to get her, there wasn't no choice. I told myself, I'm gonna take custody of my daughter. It's my baby. That's what we're supposed to do as men. Take care of our home, build a foundation, you know what I'm saying? Love, our money, she's my purpose. I'm here to walk with her, hold her hand until she can walk alone. Ain't nothing like being a father in this world.
There are 16 million children struggling with hunger in America. That's 1 in 5 daughters, sons, neighbors, and classmates who don't know where their next meal is coming from. Yet billions of pounds of good food go to waste every year. It's time we do something about it. Feeding America is a nationwide network of food banks that helps provide meals to millions of kids and families in need. Visit feedingamerica.org to help them feed even more. Together, we can solve hunger. Together, we're feeding America.
The Southern Tier Symphony will be performing this weekend at St. Bonaventure and the Pitt Brad campuses. They will perform at St. Bonaventure's Quick Center for the Arts on Saturday at 7:30 and Pitt Bradford's Bromley Family Theater Sunday afternoon at 3. The concert will celebrate works by Mozart, Haydn, and Chevalier de Saint-Georges.
And the Chinese spy balloon that was spotted flying across the continental U.S. last week, it was shot down on February 4th. SBU-TV's Gannon Horning talked with Professor Brian Kellogg about the dangers of the balloon.
You can listen to a lot of electromagnetic signals if you get a big enough amplification of the signal itself. So there's ways of getting around the normal reach of signals.
The FBI is currently recovering what was inside the balloon, and the U.S. says they've discovered that the Chinese have likely sent fleets of these high-altitude surveillance balloons across the globe. The balloon has also been found to have flown over 40 countries before reaching America.
Staying in business for years at a time can be tricky. This week, SBU-TV's Johnny Washington checked in with Armand's and Olean, which has been in business for around 48 years.
We've been through, there's not much we haven't been through. So, and we've made it.
For 100 years, there's been a haberdashery on North Union Street in Olean. A haberdashery is a shop where men's clothing and accessories are sold. From 1923 to 1975, Gavin McCarthy Men's and Boys Clothing was located on Union Street. That is, until the DeCola family changed the name. Armand's Fashions for Men is currently the only haberdashery in Olean. Armand's president, Craig DeCola, credits one reason for this.
Now that the big boys, half of them are in bankruptcy or whatever, we're just doing a lot of it. So, things have been really good.
Even throughout the COVID-19 pandemic, Armand's overcame challenges.
We did miss, like once we got to spring, we because of winter, late winter being slow, we worked very hard to get to May. That was gone.
According to the Olean Chamber of Commerce, there are 10 other businesses that are over 100 years of service in Olean. A key philosophy of Armand's is its interaction with the community.
Kids will come in here and I'll get done with them doing the prom and they're like, wow, this was kind of neat, you know, but they never would have been exposed to it, you know. Yeah. So, you know, that's the part of it that you like and you keep doing.
Cola hopes that Armand's will be around for generations to come. Reporting for SBU-TV.
I've had a lot of people say, don't ever leave, don't ever leave.
I'm Johnny's Washington.
Similarly, the city of Bradford in Pennsylvania has 10 businesses that are over 100 years of service.
And February is also American Heart Month. Heart diseases are one of the biggest problems in the nation, but one thing people don't know about is how preventable it is. Ways you can prevent heart problems is by having a clean, healthy lifestyle, eating lots of vegetables, limiting bad fats like salty and sugary foods. Alcohol and energy drinks also raise blood pressure, so limit those options as well. One thing everyone should try to do is get 30 minutes of exercise each day.
On Saturday, Bonnie's men's lacrosse team opens its season against the Bellarmine Knights. The team is coming off a historic season going 11-4 before losing by 1 goal in the MAC championship game. We will have more for you about the game later in sports.
And the NFL Honors Award Show took place last night, kicking off the biggest weekend of the NFL season. During the show, the NFL announced winners for its yearly awards. Patrick Mahomes took home the league's most valuable player. Wide receiver Justin Jefferson won Offensive Player of the Year. Defensive end Nick Bosa won Defensive Player of the Year. And wide receiver Garrett Wilson walked away with the Offensive Rookie of the Year honors, just to name a few. But the night wasn't without a tear-jerking moment as Bills safety Damar Hamlin thanked first responders and medical teams that saved his life.
Los Angeles Lakers superstar LeBron James passed Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's 1984 record while playing against the Oklahoma City Thunder Tuesday night. James set the new record when he scored a fadeaway jumper from the free throw line in the third quarter. The game was halted after his achievement, and Abdul-Jabbar came on the court with James's family and others to celebrate. James finished the night with 38 points, bringing his career points total to 38,390 points, 3 points more than Abdul-Jabbar's record.
Gentlemen, are you having a hard time getting that special someone a gift for Valentine's Day? Well, there's no need to fear. Anthony DeSilva has some tips for you coming up.
And on your screens right now, a live look at the Phoenix Convention Center, the site of the NFL Radio Row. SBU-TV's Johnny Walker joined us earlier, sharing his experience. Now let us know on social media, who do you have winning the big game, Chiefs or Eagles?
Jordan knows he shouldn't eat this entire bowl of nachos, but tonight he's earned that right because a few hours ago in the middle of happy hour, he recognized a sign. Not from the gods or a bolt of lightning, but from a double heart, a kissy face, and a fourth ha in ha ha ha. That's when Jordan knew he was buzzed. So when it was time to go, he got a ride home instead of driving. Be a legend like Jordan. Recognize your buzzed warning signs and get a ride home. Buzz driving is drunk driving.
Welcome back to SBU-TV on a rather windy Friday morning. Thanks for spending time with us today. We're now going to turn it back over to WKBW's Chief Meteorologist, Aaron Mentkowski, with your weekend weather forecast.
Hey everyone, I'm Chief Meteorologist Aaron Mentkowski with your SBU-TV weather forecast for Friday. We'll have snow showers in the afternoon. Temperatures in the mid to upper 30s. Saturday, we start with some clouds and with sunshine. Temperatures in the mid to upper 30s. Sunday, partly cloudy with temperatures near 50 degrees.
Valentine's Day is quickly approaching and Americans plan to spend nearly $26 billion on the holiday, according to the National Retail Association. On average, most people say they will spend about $192, which is up from $175 last year. This increase may be caused by people not just buying gifts for their significant other, but their pets and friends as well.
And like you said, Anthony, Valentine's Day is coming up, and if you're struggling to get a gift, well, Anthony De Silva did the hard work for you. Here's his gentleman's guide to a Valentine's Day.
Valentine's Day is coming up and many people are stumped on what to get their significant other. Do you get them flowers, chocolate, or something a little bit more special? So I talked to some girls to see what they would want for Valentine's Day. The first girl I talked to was Erica Marshall, and she talked about what she would want for Valentine's Day.
Really not too picky. Definitely want to spend some time with my boyfriend. If it's nice out, maybe just go for a nice little walk, maybe some dinner.
When asked about how she feels about getting chocolates, Erica said this.
Oh, love them. I'm a sucker for those, yeah.
The next girl I talked to was Madison Tucarone, and she is currently in a long-distance relationship.
Seeing him would be really nice and just spending quality time together since we don't have that now.
Madison also made it a point that she wants some double chocolate chip cookies and flowers.
I really just want some really good double chocolate chip cookies. And I never got flowers before, so that'd be really special if someone gave me flowers.
And the last girl I talked to was Kenzie Jensen, who unfortunately doesn't have a Valentine this year.
I kind of just want to relax, hang out with my friends. I wouldn't mind some flowers, but...
And then Kenzie takes us through her perfect Valentine's Day.
Honestly, breakfast in bed in the morning. You know, just some good French toast, fresh strawberries or something. And then, I don't know, spend time with each other throughout the day, maybe go to dinner.
So it turns out girls do love getting chocolates and flowers for Valentine's Day. They also said they would like to go to a nice dinner and just have a good time. And also,
So if you don't need a Valentine when you have your grandparents.
from SBU-TV, I'm Anthony De Silva, your local gentleman.
And one last tip for you this year, if you don't have a Valentine and your grandparents are around, they'd gladly be your Valentine.
In case you haven't heard, Netflix is now cracking down on password sharing in 4 countries. Wednesday, the popular streaming service announced it has launched a new approach to password sharing in Canada, New Zealand, Portugal, and Spain. Netflix says its members will not have to set up a primary location, which will allow people who live in the same house to access Netflix. The company plans to roll out this new approach more broadly in the coming months. Netflix claims over 100 million households are sharing accounts, arguing this impacts their ability to invest in new television and films.
And Tuesday night, President Joe Biden delivered his State of the Union address. In his address, Biden emphasized how he wants to continue to work with both Democrats and Republicans to keep the country strong. All this while dealing with heckles and boos from opposition legislators.
The president comes to Capitol Hill tonight to speak before a divided Congress. And so the White House says he will seek to highlight elements of his so-called unity agenda, areas he feels both parties can get behind. Things like supporting veterans, combating the opioid epidemic, the mental health crisis in this country, and also supporting cancer research. But the president will have to distinguish between the two parties as well as he starts to set the table for the 2024 campaign.
Basketball, a look at this week's basketball action.
Kevin McCarthy.
You really just need to be, you know, because they're the
And a
best way
preview
to
of the
score,
big game.
honestly, across the league.
And now bringing.
If you need to do something to feel okay to drive, you're not okay to drive. Don't drive buzzed.
After you joined our family, it was like, I really do feel complete now.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move, so I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day, I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
Yeah, I know, but I don't know. Yeah, you just did that. Look at that. It's so sad. That's good.
Did you know dragging chains can spark a wildfire?
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Good morning and welcome back to SBU-TV. Thanks for choosing to spend your Friday morning with us. Bonnie's men's basketball continues to soar in A10 play, plus Bonnie's lacrosse gets ready to start its season. All this and more on SBU-TV Sports with Louis Genovese.
Happy Friday, everyone. Welcome back to SBU-TV Sports. I'm Louis Genovese. The Bonnies hosted LaSalle Explorers at the RC Wednesday night, looking for their fourth straight win. Cairo Luke gets the scoring started, hitting this jumper early on. Aquan Hill extends the Bonnie lead, throwing down a ferocious putback slam. Brantley hit this scorching three-point shot, silencing the crowd to take a first-half lead. Jan Farrell heats up in the second half with 10 straight points. However, that did not help the Bonnies as LaSalle jumped ahead, snapping the Bonnies' three-game win streak. To the women's team, they visited the George Mason Patriots on Wednesday night. In the first half, the Pats pounced, going up on a 7-0 run. Keeping that pace, Mason built off its early success. The Bonnies continued to battle with this Nikki Oppenheimer three-point shot early in the second quarter, but the Patriots took a dominant 34-21 lead into the halftime break. Bonaventure's Peyton Fields sunk this three-point shot in the third, keeping the Bonnies in the game. However, the Patriots offense held on and finished off Bonaventure by a final score of 65-51. Basketball season may be in the final stretch, but another uprising team is about to start its season. The men's lacrosse team travels to Louisville, Kentucky for its season opener. The team is coming off an historic season, going 11-4 and losing the MAC championship game. The Bonnies will take on the Bella Marine Knights, who are coming off a 19-17 loss against Duke University. Bonnies head coach Randy Murray spoke about what his team can expect in Louisville.
Face-off guy, their defense is long.
The opening face-off will take place at Owsley B. Frazier Stadium. The game can be streamed on ESPN Plus at noon. Also Saturday at 1 p.m., new head coach Leanne Stauffer leads the St. Bonaventure women's lacrosse team in their season opener against Niagara. Fourth year and captain Sarah Owen spoke with us this morning. She says her team's chemistry will lead to more success on the field.
I think that'll allow us to, get into the A10 tournament. We haven't won an A10 game since our Coach Lee, was a fifth year at Bonaventure, and I think that with our great team chemistry, we'll be able to get there.
Watch for the improved stick handling. Olean says the team focused on improving that in the offseason. This weekend, Jalen Hurts' Philadelphia Eagles take on MVP Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs. It's the first time two black quarterbacks will be starting the big game. Eagles center Jason Kelce will face his brother Travis Kelce, the first time two brothers faced off in the game. Nick Sirianni, a Jamestown native and head coach of the Eagles, will be fighting for his first ever NFL championship. Catch the action on Fox at 6:30 p.m. February 12th. And on to a loaded weekend ahead for Bonnie's athletics. Men's and women's track and field head to RIT for a competition at 4 p.m. today. The lacrosse teams begin their season. The men's team travels to Louisville for the teams plays. Niagara, both basketball teams on the road Saturday. The men's team at Duquesne and the women's team meets Loyola in Chicago. Women's tennis team faces Slippery Rock, rounding out a busy Saturday before matchups against Mercyhurst on Sunday with the men's team. Bonnie's Basketball Now, Saturday at 11 a.m., has live pregame coverage of the Bonnie's weekend action. The men's team looks for a bounce back after a shocking home loss, and Brianna Ware continues to impress. BBN Live Saturday at 11 a.m. on Facebook and YouTube. Plenty of Bonnie's action this weekend. Follow SBU-TV Sports on Instagram to keep you up with the action. That's all for sports. Back over to you, Rich and Anthony.
On your screens right now are SBU-TV social media handles. Follow us on Instagram and Facebook. We actually post throughout the week, keeping you up to date on everything happening in your local community. Plus, you'll never miss another live show again.
Last weekend was the Bonnies' big win against the Dayton Flyers in the women's pink game. Look on your screen and you'll see some highlights from those games. That's going to take us to the end of the show this morning. Anthony, any fun plans for the weekend?
Just going to watch the big game with my friend this weekend.
Same here. I'm looking forward to some good food for SBU-TV. I'm Rich Williams.
And I'm Anthony Stable. Have a fun weekend.
The men face off against Dayton, and the women set for their annual pink.